From New York, a city blessed with a balmy climate and plentiful supplies of nuts and berries, it's Late Night with David Letterman. Tonight, tennis pro Chris Everett Lloyd, expert on cemeteries and graves John Cashman, comedian Jeff Altman, a look at Dave's new arts and crafts, a back-to-school quiz, and because of some low-life record company weasel, Robert Duvall won't be here. And now, the first lady of jazz, David Letterman.
Nice young woman, a very talented lady, and she'll be here. Also, a very funny comedian who's been with us before. He's here again tonight. Mr. Jeff Altman will be out. And a gentleman who has a very, very unusual, interesting act. And his name is John Cashman. I'll tell you. Did you tell him about it, Bill? Oh, okay. Well, then you know all about it. But we'll come up with something to surprise you. And a back-to-school quiz. And now, oh, also, what do? I just now move backward, don't I? I just step back a couple of steps like this. This stuff comes in like this. Here it comes. Program. What are we doing? My first guest tonight is a New York City police sergeant who claims to be, well, they all wear those satin jackets, those record people, you know. My first guest tonight is a New York City police sergeant who claims to be one of the country's foremost experts on cemeteries and graves. He has also turned his expertise into a multimedia nightclub act. Please welcome John Cashman. Nice to see you. Thank you very much for coming back. You were going to be with us a couple of weeks ago, and we ran out of time, and I appreciate you making a special trip back to see us.
You remember that time?
Sure I do.
Punk rock fellow.
Yeah, I think it was...
He really did me in, Dave.
Johnny Idol was on, and we ran out of time. Billy, I'm sorry.
This wasn't my night.
Johnny Idol.
This wasn't my night.
No, but tonight you're here, and we're all set. Now, it's an act. Tell us what you do in the act.
Well, I've collected put a slide collection together of all famous Americans throughout the United States, famous and infamous.
Right.
And I show you the person, and then I show you their gravestone, and I tell you some unusual facts about it.
Now, how did you begin to do this? How did that happen?
As a young lad, I worked in Greenwood Cemetery in Brooklyn. And I found a couple of relatives of mine wanted me to take them on a tour to show them like Boris Tweed, Lola Montez,
right.
Frank Morgan, the Wizard of Oz is there. And I started taking people. And I realized, boy, there may be a book in this. People are interested in cemetery. So I put the collection together.
Now, you said you worked there as a boy. What kind of work did you do in the cemetery?
I was sort of like a gopher. Like for the grave diggers, I go for beer and sandwiches.
Now, do you have to get a release from the estate of the person who's died, whose gravestone you're showing?
No, I found if it's a prominent person, you don't need that. And as long as you don't ridicule the person, you know.
But it's not really public property, is it, exactly?
Well, that's really a touchy subject. Some cemeteries I have to climb the fence to get in, and others really welcome you, you know? They welcome, like Woodlawn welcomes you with open arms.
Now you're a police officer, but yet you're climbing cemetery fences, isn't
it? My off-duty time.
I see. Now, John, this is, as we said, an act. Now, where do you do this? Where do you work? Where do you put on your show?
Well, I go, like, to Rotary Clubs, Masonic Lodges, and hopefully with your show, I'd like to get on the college circuit, because you're big with college kids.
Yes, that's right.
Not older policemen, more, you know, but college kids you're really big with.
Older policemen don't watch the show?
Well, they watch.
They watch. They don't care for it. Now, do you consider this to be morbid at all?
Oh, far from morbid.
Yeah.
I leave them laughing. I always have something at the end to lighten it up a little.
Yeah.
People shouldn't be afraid of cemeteries. They shouldn't have that Halloween effect. I mean, we're all going to pass that way, David. You know, it's inevitable.
Yeah, but you yourself said that you're kind of making a buck on the fact that these folks have died.
I have a large family, David.
Yeah.
I have 9 children. And I needed an extra buck. The police department doesn't pay all that.
Now,
hold me a consciousness thing.
What does your family think of this? Are they happy with the show?
Well, most of them think it's all right.
Yeah.
But I have a daughter, Judy, that's a nurse, And she said, Dad, if you're ever interviewed, please just say you have 8 children. And she's very touchy.
Just leave Judy out of it.
Leave Judy out of it. So I always do that. I never mention Judy.
Okay. All right, John, let's, I guess you're going to just go ahead and do the show as you would if you were at a date, huh?
Yes, Dad.
All right, how does it begin? Do I need to do anything? You need any music, or what do you want?
Well, I do have a musical background, you know. So whatever music they put through it, I could fill in, you know. But I have my own musical background when I go do the show. Really, I can catch a song.
You want Paul to play?
Paul could play.
Okay, go ahead, Paul. And John, take it away. And this is John Cashman. What do you call your presentation?
Famous American Grave Sites.
All right. Famous American Grave Sites.
Where's the monitor?
There's the monitor right there, John.
Now that's Jimmy Dean. Fans have climbed over the fence and chipped away at the stone. You can't make out James Dean's name even on the stone. But that's James Dean in Indiana.
In what city in Indiana? Fairmount, Indiana?
I think it is Fairmount,
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Now that's the FBI chief, Hoover. And you can notice the condition. It's really a terrible, sloppy grave. And I keep saying I'm going to write to the FBI agents down here to fix it up a little bit, but I've been so busy.
Is this in Washington
This
area?
is in Washington area, right?
Is that in Arlington?
No, that's not.
No.
Now this is one of my favorites. This is Al Jolson. He's on top of a 25-foot waterfall. Next, please. And you can almost hear Al singing Mammy.
Yeah. You know,
it's a life-size statue in bronze.
You can see this in Los Angeles.
Yes.
Yeah.
From the freeway.
Yeah, from the San Diego freeway.
Right.
You go by that, yeah.
Now this is another one. This is Alfalfa from Our Guy in Comedy. And I really like it. I like it when someone, especially a really prominent person, leaves something to be remembered by. You know, like, there's the dog.
Right.
And you'll see more coming up. I always get hungry when I show this. This is Kentucky Colonel.
Well, this is...
He was about, he was in his 70s.
This is Colonel Sanders?
Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
I wish they had like a bucket there or something, but Alan Burr.
Talk to the family. Give them a call.
I don't know. I don't think they speak to me.
Yeah, maybe not.
They probably listen to you then.
Yeah.
Now this is Aaron Burr. I like this because this is back in the 1800s, and you can still make out the name and all the dates. And you know, Aaron Burr is our vice president, and they shot Hamilton.
Mm-hmm. Famous duel.
Famous duel.
Yeah.
Now here's a real terrific one. Tommy Dorsey, and when they leave something, that's what's really catchy. There's his trombone, and if you're musically inclined, you can read the notes. That's his theme song.
Oh, really? Well, that's very nice, yeah.
Now, Bat Masterson, even though he was a Dodge City Marshal, he went on in later life become a sports reporter for the New York World, and he died at his desk. He was a fellow that was killing people left and right, and died at his desk.
I was surprised to learn that he was actually a sports writer.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
Now, this is an old favorite. Probably your grandmother would remember him, you know, Valentino. I put that in for the older crowd.
Oh.
Now, here's a very nice one. I was almost arrested on this one. This is out in Forest Lawn.
I think I've been at barbecues at this place. Looks like somebody's porch.
No,
What is that?
I don't think so, no. This is a biggie. This is Spencer Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a beautiful one.
And how big is that actually when you see it?
Big, it's about 10 by 10, I guess, 10 feet by 10 feet.
This
But
is Forest Lawn?
right? And they have really strict out there. No way can you take pictures out there. They have all signs up and all.
How did you get the picture then?
Well, I just happened to come across it, you know. While my children were at Universal City, I was out there with my wife Rosemary, sneaking up and down, and she was a nervous wreck.
Well, I would be here. I think what you've shown us here tonight, you could do time. How much do you charge for an evening of this?
$100.
$100.
Plus travel expense.
And how long does the show last?
55 minutes.
55 minutes. And do people seem to enjoy the
Oh,
presentation?
sure they do. I need them laughing. I have an end segment that's terrific.
You have the end segment?
It's called Died Laughing.
Died Laughing, yeah.
That's a terrific.
Can you just real quickly tell us the strangest, most unusual gravesite you've come across?
Well, recently, a man was buried out in Indiana, and I was fortunate to get the shot. He has 2 parking meters, one on each side of his grave, and the cemetery at first wouldn't let him have them. But with the stipulation that they would keep them up, take care of them, and it's just a regular parking meter. They come out once or twice a month and clean them and fix them. And on the parking meter, on both sides, it has expired.
Yeah.
I think that was
sort of thought maybe that's what it would be. John, thank you very much. Nice meeting you. John Cashman, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back to Chris over